It's the same story with almost every small business acquisition that I see. You as a business owner have built this company, it's provided a good living for you and your family, and it's time to retire. And now you've set a value for your business for someone to buy it and take over what you started, and no one's lining up. In this video today, we're going to go over 3 reasons why your business might be unsellable and the things that you can do to prevent this from happening. Hi, my name is Barrett Young, and I'm a partner here at GWCPA, and we specialize in small business acquisition and succession planning, and these are the 3 most common mistakes that we have seen. I'm preparing a quality of earnings report for a client right now looking at a business in the construction field, and immediately the first thing that I'm going to look at when I get into that client is recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is the guarantee or a better guarantee that there's going to be money there in future years. If you don't have recurring revenue in your business, you know the struggle every single month starting from zero and needing to bring in enough money to make payroll this month. You are now going to pass that off to your buyer. Recurring revenue is at least a insurance policy against starting from zero every single month. Now, that doesn't guarantee that that recurring revenue isn't going to disappear as soon as you sell the business, but recurring revenue, recurring customers are less likely to want to switch when something changes within a business. Recurring revenue gives this stickiness factor. It is costly for somebody to make a decision to contact a business, to cancel their subscription, to move on from working with that company. Recurring revenue doesn't have to be a monthly subscription, though that is one of the best methods of recurring revenue. It could just be annually recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is just a pattern, a repetition, the cycle of your business, proving that these customers are planning on coming back to you in the future. So, for example, recurring revenue at its most basic for something like a CPA firm, we have annual tax filing. And so we can say, I expect that these customers are going to come back next year. Recurring revenue takes that a step further and says, I'm going to have my client base prepaying for their tax return next year. They're paying on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, and so I know they've already decided in advance who's going to prepare their tax return next year. I saw a really cool example of this on social media this past week. In my area, there's a tree service company who has taken this model, and they will come out and they will give you a quote and they will clean up your property, and then they will actually build in a monthly warranty, recurring model into your tree service. So where before you would put it off as long as possible because you know it's going to be costly undertaking to have the trees on your property taken down, they're going to come out, they're going to mark which ones, they're going to identify the ones that need to be removed immediately, the ones that might have a year or 2 left in them, and then they're going to warranty your property so that if any of those trees do fall in a storm, it's already included in your subscription price, and they're going to come out and they're going to take care of it. This is a beautiful picture of sticky revenue. Sticky recurring revenue is what reassures a buyer that those sales are not going to dry up as soon as you walk out the door as the owner. And that brings us to the second problem, the reason your business is not going to sell, and that's because everybody deals with you as the owner. This is notorious in CPA firms where our clients only deal with the one person that brought that business in the door. They don't know who the staff are, they don't know who the other partners are within the company. If your business operates like this, where everything goes through you, all deals go through you, all client relationships go through you, your best clients have your cell phone number and contact you when they're not happy with something, all of this means that that relationship is going to be harder to transition to someone else, especially the owner of a business. You are now asking them to trust this person who's coming in and buying this business, who possibly has not worked in that business up to this point, to be able to take care of them the same way that you did. And they're not going to, because they don't have that established relationship with those clients. You as the business owner need to start transitioning those relationships to a team. You need to start having processes. You need to identify the core values of your company, what you stand for, and making sure that the team is delivering that product and it's no longer relying on you. Another area this is obvious in a business is when the business owner has to make all of the decisions. Does the team know how you're going to decide on things, or do you have to be the one to sign off on everything? I'm not saying that you should abdicate accountability and responsibility. You are the business owner. Everything ultimately does fall on your shoulders, but you should be empowering your team to make those decisions, because otherwise those processes that are not documented, those decisions that have not been systematically gone through to identify how you would deal with them, those are going to walk out the door as well when you sell the business. And so it's going to feel like a completely different company when somebody else comes in. And finally, the last surprise or reason why your business is not selling that we've seen with our clients is that you're not actually selling control of the business. So this can be seen in a lot of ways. It happens especially in family businesses where control of the company does not pass at one given time in the cycle of that business. It will pass gradually, where the incoming generation might take over 10% of the business, and then maybe 45% of the business, and then eventually someday maybe possibly decision-making capability within that business. We've seen cases where a successive generation will even have control of the company, but the pressure from that founding generation, from mom or dad, is so strong that they don't feel like they can make the decisions necessary in order to move the company forward. Other ways this happens in an acquisition that's not a family business or not through familial bonds could be the power that you've exerted as a business owner to this date. This could be through an earnout written into the agreement. It could be demonstrated by dragging your feet through the process and wanting to stick around longer than necessary. I've even seen cases where the buyer was restricted from renaming the business because the name of that company had been written into that buying agreement that it had to stay this way. One of the biggest discounts that you're going to see that's going to affect the purchase price of a business is control over cash flows. And so if someone is a partner in your business, but they do not have majority ownership of the business, they don't have direction over paying out distributions from within the business, then they don't really have a control stake in that company. The value of that business is going to go down. This could also be seen in key relationships, like I talked about in the second point, but possibly this is key relationships with your bank where your credit as the seller is necessary in order to keep lines of credit moving. Your name is on the land deed, and so you're going to retain ownership of the building into perpetuity rather than transfer the building and the business at the same time. There's a lot of ways that you as a business owner can still exert control over that business into the future, and that's just going to make certain buyers shy away from buying that business because they do not really take control of an operating company. These issues did not develop overnight. You've been running your business for a long time. They grew gradually and slowly, and it's going to take you a while to unravel these issues to make your business valuable and make it able to sell. I'm not saying you won't be able to sell your business if these issues remain. Anybody can sell their business to a private equity company or a roll-up. You're just not going to get the value for the business that you believe that it's worth while some of these issues persist. In valuation, these are the three top issues that continue to increase the discount, which decreases the value of that business. It's not too late, though, to make these changes to increase the value of your business. If you need help doing that, we at GWCPA, we work on processes in the transition period of businesses that are moving to that next generation. This is what we focus on to make sure that the transition occurs smoothly, that the buyer is getting the value of a business that continues to produce cash flow, and that you as the seller are getting a value of the business that represents the hard work and the love that you've put into that company, so that both parties feel that they are making a good decision in this transition. If you want more information, you can check out our YouTube videos. If this video has been helpful to you, please like it and follow along for more content.